Okay, the next one is question E. Question E asks to consider the possible advantages and disadvantages to Pakistan's economy from China's initiative, right? Also known as the Belt and Road Initiative. So this one, so this is a 8 mark, 8 is 6 plus 2. The advantages and disadvantages to the economy, this means we need to talk about the macro goals. Yeah, from the Belt and Road Initiative. So we start off with the good things first. So if you read closely for extract 6, they said two things, right? One is that it would boost trade, right? So here we have an increase in X minus M. And then also they also mentioned a port and a number of projects, motorways, power plant, factories, and so on. So this would be under investments, particularly foreign direct investment. Yeah, so let's start with the advantages first. Oh yeah, one more thing. And then they also said that it will help to create 1 million jobs over here. Okay, so we have start off with the Belt and Road first. So let's talk about advantages. So one of the first advantages of the Belt and Road Initiative, make it Belt and Road Initiative. So this will allow Pakistan to export goods and services easily, more with ease. Export goods and services easily, and the reason why is because they are building export facilities, using export facilities like ports, using export facilities like ports, which they mentioned there. Yeah, they will help to boost trade. So this will lead to an increase in X minus M for Pakistan. And then next, we also have a network of motorways, power plants, and factories. So these will constitute FDI. So they constitute FDI, which then means that there's an increase in I. Yeah. So we're going to get to a macro goal. So we got two macro goals here. One is the 1 million jobs that I mentioned here. Okay, one is the 1 million jobs here. And the other one we're going to talk about also is just actual growth. Yeah. So then you can say that because X minus M and I are components of AD, AD would increase from AD0 to AD1, and then we're going to say it starts the multiplier process. Okay, so I'm not going to elaborate the multiplier process thoroughly. So initial increase in AD leads to drawdown of firm stocks and inventories. To replenish those inventories, firms hire more FOPs from households. Households increase their induced spending, induced consumption, so it creates income for other households. And then you get cycles of spending and respending. Yeah. Okay, then we can should draw the diagram also. So the diagram is just a very simple ADS diagram, but maybe we'll draw that later. And then also it helps to create that 1 million jobs, right? Create that 1 million jobs here. So we can say that because labor is a derived demand, increase in national income also increases the demand for labor, so it creates new jobs, or up to 1 million jobs. In Pakistan. Okay. There are other things that you can write also. So you can even say that because you are building factories, you're building ports and motorways. This also means that this will increase your capital stock for factories. Yeah, and then the roads and motorways allow goods and services to be transported more efficiently from one location to the other. Yeah, so roads, motorways allow goods and services to be transported more efficiently. So it will increase productivity as well. Yeah, so we got two things happening here. If you want to draw the diagram, you have this one should say that therefore the AS curve will increase from AS0 to AS1. So you can draw the diagram. Then we can shift the AS curve also. Sorry for my drawing. Okay, so Y0 here, P0 here, Y1 here, P1 here. Yeah. Okay, so that's the benefit. We got for benefits we have three things. We have higher actual growth, higher potential growth, and then lower unemployment. Yeah. Okay, now let's go to the disadvantages. They did mention a couple of things, so let's make it thicker. So they said that China intends to export excess cement and steel capacity through this Belt and Road Initiative, right? So two things can happen as a result. One is that these sectors, these Chinese-owned companies can compete domestically, can compete with the Pakistan domestic firms as well. And so when that happens, then maybe if you are a cement manufacturer in Pakistan, you now have to compete with these Chinese firms, and so you might shut down, right? And when you shut down, you tend to lay off workers, so maybe you get structural unemployment as a result. Or you can even go the other way, and you can say that initially when they are building those roads, those motorways, they're using cement that's imported from China, and so this one increases M in the short run, which might create a balance of trade deficit in the short run. Okay, so both are fine. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this maybe. However, so this disadvantages. Okay, so let's see. You can see that at the extract says that there's a plan to export excess cement and steel. Okay, so maybe you can say that there may be domestic producers of these goods in Pakistan, and so they cannot compete with the low prices of the Chinese firms. Yeah, so they cannot compete. Not cannot, maybe let's not use extreme words. So may not be able to compete, may not be able to compete with the Chinese imports, sorry. So then these factories, so these firms producing these goods, Pakistani firms producing these goods, may shut down. And they shut down, then they lay off workers. And then we can say that those workers have a mismatch of skills, and then you get structural unemployment. Yeah, so this is one possible disadvantage. The other one I mentioned was a BOT deficit. Yeah, you can also say that. So this means that to build this infrastructure and factories, you have to import Chinese raw materials. Means you have to import Chinese raw materials, which means it will lead to an increase in import expenditure. Right, and if export remains constant, then X minus M might go into deficit. Yeah. So disadvantages, we have structural unemployment and a BOT deficit. Yeah. So this is a 8-mark question. So there's 2 marks actually given for evaluation. So let's sum everything up, yeah, and see what we think for conclusion. Maybe let's write it here. Okay, so we have, on the plus side, we have actual growth, potential growth, and lowering of unemployment. And then on the negative side, we have structural unemployment possible and a BOT deficit. Yeah. My argument would be that I think these are quite short term. Yeah. Actually, once you build up your export capabilities, you should be able to start exporting goods as well. So then over time, your BOT deficit, you won't be continuously importing cement anyway. So once those factories are built up, you will stop importing those raw materials and then you will start exporting. So this is, I think, is temporary. Structural unemployment can also be overcome, because even though if you are a person working in a company making cement, you can move to do something else instead. Yeah. So I'm going to argue for the long run, short run thing. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say that in the main, it's going to be likely beneficial. We can even add some more, right? So I've actually picked out a table here, just to show you. So you can see that actually, in terms of participation in the global value chain, Pakistan is actually quite low. Yeah, it's only about 40% participation in the global value chain. So there's definitely a lot of room for Pakistan to join into the global economy. Yeah, so you can say that largely beneficial, because Pakistan has a very low percentage in terms of participation in the global value chain, GVC. Yeah, so there's opportunity for Pakistan to tap on the global value chain to grow. Yeah, that's one. And then we can say that the disadvantages are likely short term. Disadvantages are largely short term. Because once the ports are built, it does not built two things happen. One is that it no longer needs to import large quantities of cement or steel. Needs to import large quantities of cement or steel. Sorry, my iPad's lagging. And once the port with a functioning port, exports are likely to rise, which means that the BOT deficit will be corrected in the long run.